you.
Don't you love the sound of Manila construction in the afternoon?
It's a nice ASMR.
Is
I
it?
used to go.
Is it really?
I used to fall asleep to the sound of construction. This is normal for me.
It's incredible. I know that this is normal. It's also incredibly annoying.
At least it's not dogs. Dogs is 10 times much worse for me because
That's true.
I would think it's over and then they start barking.
They start again. As long as I have locked the door so Finn can't get to Matilda. Have I told you Finn and Matilda are a thing now? They're doing the old humpy. Yeah. So
I mean,
Matilda might have some puppies at the end of all of this.
I guess it is in season.
Yeah. They will have the pointiest ears.
Oh goodness. Alright. Let's do some catch up. How have you been?
I have been doing schoolwork. I hate 3D modeling. It can burn in hell. Especially NURBS. Fuck you, NURBS. I started Stardew Valley the other day, and that has consumed my free time. Because I forgot how deeply I got into Harvest Moon when it was on the Game Boy.
Oh my god.
And then as I'm playing, I'm like, oh no, do you not remember when you had the Game Boy and all you played was Harvest Moon?
I think I remember playing Harvest Moon, but I don't think it was my console.
It probably wasn't.
As is normal
Harvest Moon was
for
like...
me.
Mine was on one of those Game Boys that had like the knockoff cartridges.
Ah, I see. We used to have like a hand-me-down PSP, which the only games on it were was it? Yeah, it was GarageBand, and then God of War, which I wasn't allowed to play.
Oh,
I saw tits on it, and I was like, okay, well.
I very briefly had like a PSP from a church garage sale.
Oh my
that also had God of War and I think Tony Hawk or something, and that's what I played on the PSP.
What is PSP players with God of War?
Because it was like a church garage sale, so the battery was kind of busted at that point, so you could only play it with it plugged in.
Yeah.
I did get it for 200 pesos, so that's fine.
That's a steal.
That's a steal.
Okay, what have I been doing recently? Well, I've mostly
Persona
been reading...
5.
Yes, for most of my vacation, sadly, but also because I wanted to finish it, okay?
Yeah, huh? Sure, excuses.
I wanted to finish it.
I'm gonna pull up, because me and SJ are friends on the Switch, I'm going to pull up SJ's thing and see how many hours
I'm
SJ
still
has
playing.
spent.
I haven't closed the game.
You know what? I can't even be mad because I am also still playing Stardew. Persona 5 Royal. SJ has played for 145 hours or more.
Yeah.
More.
I haven't closed the game because I am too lazy to reload up the game. It takes too long. There's an opening sequence. Come on.
I will say, out of all the consoles, the Switch is the one that's very easy to get sucked into hours and hours of playing.
I don't even own this one. I'm just borrowing.
You're just borrowing
As always.
And you've got 145 hours on it.
Listen, my sister is busy.
Fair.
So I'm borrowing. Apart from P5R, because I technically have already finished it. I'm on my second run at the moment. Mm-hmm. I'm reading a new web novel.
Nice.
And I have been reading I call them popcorn manhwas.
Uh-huh.
Because they're junk food. And they're very, very, just like, it's just self-indulgent bullshit. It's like watching a K-drama, but I don't have to sit through hours.
Fair.
I'm just like scrolling on my phone. So, that's not been productive. I've also been trying to do college stuff to no avail. So at the moment I'm waiting on an email. As we're recording.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway. But I
have finished We Are Lady Part Season 2. Very good.
I know, I've seen the live tweeting.
Just, a lot of it is just me going, ah!
Yeah. Bisexuals!
Bisexuals! Amina-san! I will say, Aisha has a great girlfriend this season. They're
Hell
cute.
yeah.
And they're also, I think, a reference to Bennett like Beckham, because her girlfriend is styled like Keira Knightley, and Bennett like Beckham, and I was like, I see what you're doing, Nita Manzoor.
She's seen the rom-com.
She's seen the rom-com. But yeah, what are we talking about today? We're talking about the long-awaited, much delayed Mob Psycho episode.
We already have the pre-episode primer, just so I don't have to put Gab through all 3 seasons of Mob Psycho, even though they're short.
Even though I've seen about 8 episodes at this point.
What was it? Right, I tried to get you into 3 episodes. For this specific one, you watched 1 episode from season 1, and then 1 episode from the last season, which I left you on a cliffhanger. And then you watched the next 2 episodes after that cliffhanger, and then not the finale.
Because I watched the next 2 episodes because the ending, no one told me Mom gets hit by a car, guys. I was seeing all the cute, little ship art, the Devon.
I told you before
I thought you were joking.
No, absolutely not.
I saw all the devastating sibling art.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I stopped before the finale was because I will be emotionally devastated. I feel as an eldest sibling. Yeah, those 2 episodes were already psychic damage.
Yeah,
that's fine.
The Ritsu episode really got you.
It really did. You just heard me over the call going, no.
I'm being so normal. I'm crying, actively crying, and just going, I'm being so fucking normal right now. Oh, man.
It's actually insane. Maybe the girlies were right on this.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a reason the Mob Psycho manga is always sold out whenever I go to Fully Book.
Okay, let's run it back for context, and I'll skip through most of what we've already covered in the primer. So, Mob Psycho was a comic that came out in 2015, if I remember correctly. Stopped publishing at 2017. They turned it into an anime, a stage play, a live action series, etc., etc. It's widely beloved by a bunch of people who are not from Bones.
You will see it everywhere. I think at every single Comic-Con, without fail, I have seen at least one Mob Psycho thing.
It's one of those things that you would have been part of the cult following before you watched the anime, and then when anime blew up, you would have just been swept by the reception to it. Because it's actually and I've said this in a video before, because I've talked about this on a video before, on the same video I had to talk about Genshin Impact, but it's one of those anime that you see which doesn't look like an anime, it just looks like an animated show.
It's because the animators behind Mob Psycho are some of the best of the best in the Japanese industry.
They're also big fans of Mob Psycho, to the point that I think all 3 of the openings for the anime were sung by the studio.
I love the openings. I think the openings
mob
are
choir.
great. They're incredibly trippy in the best possible way.
There's a lot of animation
there's a lot
winks.
Of neon colors.
Yeah. There's a lot of animation winks and nudges over there. There's a zoetrope in
Yeah, which I love. I love as someone who is always endlessly fascinated by zoetropes. Very delightful.
What else? Right. I got into Mob Psycho when the anime kind of blew up in 2015. This was
You're old school.
Well, not 2015. Sort of maybe the next year. I heard whispers of it in 2015. My sister was trying to get me into it, and then I kind of just ignored her because I was going through my own bullshit. And then
2015, that was the year of the Raven cycle and stuff.
No. There was some other bullshit going through during that time. But 2016, I got into it with my sister and her friend. We actually had a sleepover about it. And we watched the first season, we binged it all throughout. I cried.
Oh.
Mob got me through some tough
times.
Yeah, some tough times. I actually got into Mob before, what was it, Good Omens TV show came out?
Good Omens came out 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got like real knee deep into it and then put it down for Good Omens, and then afterwards I got into My Hero. And then
I feel like, based on what people say, like the good animes that I always hear about is like Mom and My Hero and Spy X Family. Those are the trio of the ones that I hear my classmates talk about. I hear normal people talk about.
I'll say this now: My Hero is a normies kind of thing. Yeah, if you hear someone who is into My Hero, they probably got into it because of anime Twitter. As a person who got into My Hero, it's cliche as hell. It's not that good. People just blow it up because the anime looks good, and there's some twists in there that you wouldn't find in most shonen. But most people are just like, yeah, Naruto is better.
I remember my friend showed me My Hero back in senior high, I think.
Mm-hmm.
We would like watch it on my friend's iPad, or I would see people watching it during the lunch break because that's when the episodes would come out.
Yeah. Mob, I think, was coming out back to back. There was like a movie that came out for, I think it was the second My Hero movie that got Mob season 3 postponed because it was the same studio.
I heard about that. I remember when that announcement dropped and everyone was like, but do we really need
a My Hero movie?
Yeah, and I remember when that dropped and I'm like,
the movie fucking sucked, by the way.
I know.
I watched it with my sister. I was like, this makes zero sense for the narrative, but what the fuck ever, I guess. There was a lot of shit in My Hero in the fandom that actually like pulled me out of the My Hero hype. One of them I think I talked about recently in my private Twitter. It was a fic called Conversations with a Cryptid. And it dug deep into like the meta-analyses for this is the nerdiest thing you'll ever hear me say, for My Hero's and a lot of it like opened my eyes to like how incredibly stupid the premise of My Hero was. I was like, holy fuck, yes, this is a police society. Holy crap. We are indoctrinating children.
I feel like I have read something similar on Tumblr about this perspective on My Hero. Honestly, out of it, I think Mob and Spy X Family is the one that survived the longest among my friends who watch anime. I did just see the cutest thread of Lloyd and Bond bonding.
I'll say this much now: I haven't caught up with the Spy Family anime and manga to some extent. I'm definitely ahead of the anime fans because I read ahead, but also I haven't caught up recently.
It's so funny because Spy X Family, you guys watched on call like with our friends, and I only watched the episode I think with how Bond came to come to their family, and I was just like going, no,
stick to Carcata. Carcata storyline for TikTok. But I brought up My Hero to some extent because I mean they did postpone season 3 of Mob for the My Hero movie, but also because of one of my biggest fics, and this is like the scariest thing that has ever happened to me.
Oh dear.
On the year before I finished, well, not the year, like a few months before I finished senior high and got into my first college because I'm on my second time, I was writing a fic that was a crossover of Mob and My Hero, and then I didn't plan how long it was gonna be, and then it reached novel length.
Oh no, that's not good.
This is normal for me.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
This is normal for you.
But this was not normal for me when that happened. Because I was coming out of Good Omens, and I was like, I mostly couldn't stop at like 9,000 words, right? for one shot. I couldn't stop at 9,000 words. But then I started writing this, and I was like, okay, 2,000 per chapter isn't too much.
Sure, that's right.
And then it reached 57,000 words. Now, I'm bringing this up not to fucking brag. It it blew up so much I had to turn off comments on the goddamn fic.
Yeah, SJ has like a backlog of fics that are pretty fandom famous depending on which fandom you go to.
Yeah, it terrified me. Especially because I didn't really have friends in either of those fandoms. So I was going in there blind, and yeah, I didn't really have anyone else apart from my sister who hated my narrative decisions. So, I mean, understandable, but at the same time, hater. Anyway, it blew up to the point that I think years later, yes, I made the mob video essay in tandem with the Genshin Impact one. Someone commented about it. I was like, I brought it up briefly. I didn't even mention like a name. I was just like, I can talk about mob for so fucking long that I have like 57,000 words about it. And
Jesus Christ.
And then someone commented,
SJ.
"Oh, is this that one mob BNHA fic?"
Oh no!
Like,
Don't you being haunted. You're being haunted.
I had to turn it off because I hate
the sins of your past.
I'm a hater. I had to turn off the comments on it because I'm a fucking hater, and everyone, for some reason, like everyone in anime fandoms doesn't know how narratives work. So it pissed me off every time someone commented something stupid. But anyway,
right.
It haunts me to this day. But I also brought that up again, not to brag, but also that fic was one of the biggest, like, it was really what brought me through the tough times during that period of my life. But, yeah. Because I was going into a college purely like against my will. Like, for context, I was going into a teaching college, out of copium, mostly, because I couldn't get into the exams for the college that I wanted to apply to.
Yeah.
So I took the exam for this one, passed, to no surprise for me, and then, while I was going through it, I was just like, maybe I'll grow to love it, you know, like, like a loveless marriage.
No. No!
Like a loveless marriage. Maybe
like
I'll grow
a lavender marriage.
Yeah, I was just like, maybe I'll grow to love it. I'll find the light at the end of this tunnel. And the big thing about that is that one of the biggest themes in that fic was Mob going into hero school.
Oh, that would be upsetting for Mob.
Because Ritsu wanted him to.
Oh no, Ritsu, no!
It wasn't that Ritsu like forced him through it.
No,
it was just like, it would be really cool if you were a hero, and because he's the big brother, he's just
he's like, oh, yeah, that would be really, I get that, yeah. Oh,
so he just wanted to be a hero for Ritsu, right? Fuck you. the way I'm already crying.
Oh no.
Fuck you. Anyway, he went into hero school against his will. And found that there were a lot of like hurdles that he personally couldn't jump over because of his own like traumas.
Yeah, because if you enter that, like, especially when I think about what I've seen of Mob, and like, and what I know about the system in My Hero Academia, it's like, oh, this would not be conducive to Mob's mental health.
Yeah, a lot of people. This is why I turned off comments. A lot of people were. Commenting, hey, when is he gonna blow up? Like, I don't know if you've noticed, he has broken down like 5 times in this fic already.
It's a metaphor, guys.
Yeah. The thing is, while I was writing it, I didn't do the 100% system where in the anime they show you a lot of the numbers before he blows up. If you're in Mob's head, that doesn't show up. They are showing you that, like, they show you that so you understand that he is about to have a mental breakdown.
Yes.
But if you are in Mob's mental headscape, right, you understand that this man is about to break.
Actually, I will say, before I knew anything fully about Mob, I thought he could only blow up once and he would be dead.
like a bomb.
Yes, I thought that's what it was.
Nah.
And that the whole show was like about keeping him calm so he never reaches the 100%.
Nah. But yeah, that's my tale with Mob Psycho. That's how much it means to me. It has given me enough to cope with during that time. In the first time I went through college, even though it didn't pan out well. And right now, like when season 3 came out, I was already done with the fic. Because I already read through all 101 chapters of the manga at that point.
Surely SJ is never beating the long form.
It's not even that long. Hater.
It's 100 chapters.
It's not One Piece.
All right.
Which is another thing you'll never get me into.
Alright, I will concede that.
You'll never get me into One Piece. I had already read through all of it at that point, and it really meant a lot to me. What Mom stood for in my brain was just like, it's okay to be weak for the moment. You can lean on people, you know?
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like from Mom, as an eldest child, it really is like the moment of, hey, I know you feel the need to like take care of everyone because you're the eldest. You feel like you should be this like self-sufficient person, but there are actually people who will take care of you if you ask for it.
Yeah.
So when I was like watching that episode where, what is the name of his the pairing guy?
Oh, Teruki.
Where he was like, "Mob, lean on me." I was like, "Man, Mob, come on, dude.
He wants to help you, bro.
He wants to help you, dude."
I think two of the biggest dynamics in Mob that really got to me, I mean, apart from the Ritsu one, because this is very self-evident.
Yes.
So, the amount of tears I've cried over that is substantial.
I think about that, and I'm upset whenever Ritsu has, like, "I can't help my big brother, what do I do?" moments. I'm like, man, I don't need to see that.
I want to help him. I want him to rely on me. And I'm like, shh, be quiet.
When Ritsu's like, he's always been taking care of me since we were kids. I just want to do this one thing for him. I'm like, man. I'm the horse picture that's like, man, staring at the ocean.
The other big dynamic for Mob is Reigen, evidently. They have a whole opening.
Weird guy. Such a weird dude.
Reigen is the fandom idol. He literally, everyone knows who Reigen is. Even though you're not into Mob Psycho, you know who Reigen is.
Like, I remember going to cons and I didn't know that much about Mob Psycho. I'm like, oh, that's Reigen Arataka. I'm like, why do I know that? And that's because I'm on Tumblr.
The infamous
Reigen Sans.
Yeah, Reigen Sans poll.
So true. I will say I like listening to like those little Tumblr history podcasts, but I feel like some of them are so they're of a generation in Tumblr that I'm like, oh, you weren't around anymore when this happened.
The Mob Psycho fandom has spawned many memes that I did not know reached that far. One of them was getting condemned by Trump himself.
I know that.
Because if you search Mob comes up, not, the mafia. Then the other one is why does Serizawa call you baby girl?
Maybe we should just stop talking for a while.
Yeah. I didn't know that was so far reaching that people forgot where it came from.
No, I knew that was Mob. But it's so funny whenever I see it, I'm like, oh, that's a Mob Psycho.
Iconic of them.
I will say, whenever I go to cons, I'm like, SJ, there's Mob Psycho fan art. And SJ's like, is it Reigen again? I want Mob art.
Yeah. I love Reigen because he's, I didn't show you.
Weird little guy.
I didn't actually show you, the part of the anime. It was, like, deep in season 2, where he had, like, a friendship over moment with Mob. Oh. It was a whole thing.
They had a breakup.
Yeah, they had a friend breakup. And they reconcile a bit, and then they kind of, like, don't talk things out until like, the finale. And that's why the finale is, like, a big, like, bomb on everyone.
I see.
So, there's a whole thing in there between them that makes their whole dynamic kind of, like, the hinge on which the show kind of just turns around. Because, I'll give you this one thing. This isn't, like, a whole spoiler. But, Reigen's advice for him formed what is Mob versus Shigeo, which is what we saw in the finale. So that complex that he has was due to Reigen's advice for him.
Oh no.
Yeah. So it's a whole thing. The resolution at the end is kind of what that is leading up to.
Oh man.
And it's sickening. It breaks me every time. But yeah, Reigen is the beloved of all the people in the fandom, including the studio that made it.
For a lot of people.
Yeah. You said this in the primer. He can't be a baby girl if the studio doesn't fucking love him, which they do.
True. That's true. It's the same way that Dean Winchester is baby girl and Sam Winchester is not.
Everyone take a shot.
That is
Successful.
You know I had to do it. It's like for once an episode thing.
I think he was the source of the baby girl meme, right? Not just the Serizawa. Why does Serizawa call you baby girl? Meme. Just the idea of turning a man into a baby girl was from Mob Psycho, which is crazy to me.
I do very distinctly remember that, like, if not the founding baby girl, one of the founding baby girls.
Founding baby girl. No. What a legacy.
I said what I said. It's the same way that Jensen Ackles is the first Omega.
I actually have gripes with how popular Reigen has become to the point
I know.
I mean, it kind of is
caricature in a way.
It kind of is iconic because if you watch the show, that is kind of the point where he's basically extorting
a child.
Yeah, he's extorting Mob for his psychic powers.
He's like, I have employed this child illegally.
Yeah, he's extorting Mob and using his powers to oh my gosh, earn a living basically. Which, respect the hustle, but also child labor. He is underpaying Mob. 300 yen per workday is so bad. but yeah, his legacy being, basically encompassing what most fans would think Mob Psycho is about. Like, they think Mob Psycho is about Reigen.
No!
But the name implies that it's definitely about Shigeo.
Yeah.
So, for most people who go into Mob Psycho not knowing or not having read the comic coming in, who only know about it because of Reigen's legacy, don't know what they're getting into, which is...
I remember... That's true, because Reigen is so, like, out there as a symbol of, like, Mob Psycho in general. I remember I was like, okay, so there's Reigen and there's the kid with the bangs.
The bowl cut.
The bowl cut. The Asian apple cut.
Of course.
And I was like, oh no, that's Mob, alright. And then I had a friend go, oh yeah, that's Reigen. I'm like, why do we all know Reigen? And the answer is founding baby girl.
Yeah. A lot of Mob is just about his story, so the amount of Reigen in it is...
Reigen is actually not as in it as I thought he was.
Absolutely not. Especially not after season 2, because because of the whole friendship over arc.
I love the friend FO na sila.
Yeah. There was also and this is something that I think I have to say for people who might get into reading the comic before going into the anime. After listening to this episode, maybe, I don't know. There's a huge trigger warning. He does end up killing a cat in one of the arcs. I did know about that. Yeah, and they kind of didn't include that in the anime. So if you don't want to see the cat death, you just watch the anime.
The anime.
Yeah. I will say that arc specifically was much more devastating in the webcomic because they censored a lot of things in the anime. So the impact of Mogami arc, which is what it is.
I remember seeing like some pages in the manga, and there's like a heavy amount of blood in some of them.
They go really deep into like a lot of bullying in there.
Yes,
which I'm assuming is that's one thing that not a lot of people kind of bring up, which kind of is another gripe for me personally. Is that it's very deeply early 90s Japanese. Mm-hmm. That is the setting of Mob. And after it blew up, a lot of Westerners kind of just like tried to 4Kids it, if you understand that.
Oh, yes.
Right. The whole like Pokemon turning an onigiri into a burger kind of thing.
Oh.
So a lot of people were, which they didn't do 4Kids in the dub. This is like Crunchyroll dubs, so they were very kind of like respectful of it being Japanese in it of itself.
Yes.
But the fans were like turning it a little too Western. So
much like everything on the internet.
So that was part of also why I couldn't like make friends in the fandom. Apart from the standard media literacy level of most anime fans.
Honestly, one day we should do like an episode on how fandom is so extremely westernized. You did do like a video essay on it.
Yeah, it didn't blow up as much, but I made a lot of points that still kind of stand up to this day. But yeah, it terrifies me because I remember someone pointing out like because I think someone backdated it. Someone said it was like 2007, right? I personally don't think it was 2007 because they still have like flip phones.
Yeah, so that's about what 2004, 2003.
Yeah, a little earlier maybe. But people were like, do you think Teruki was Team Ed or what was it? It was like the Twilight teams. I don't remember. And I was like, they were Japanese in the mid-2000s. They would not have been into Twilight. I'll say that much.
Oh,
this is the same reason why when people were like making fun of the guy she was into wasn't a guy at all.
Yes.
The people were making fun of that because the conceit was these two girls were into white rock, right? White American rock.
Because they're in a record store.
Yeah. And people were making fun of, you can't have friends or, girlfriends who are into white rock. Like, and people were overestimating how ubiquitous American culture is in Japan or in Asia in general.
I know, yes.
Like, when I was in junior high, let's say, grade 10, not a lot of people in my high school were into something niche like, I don't know, American YA.
That's true.
Right? So you can't make a lot of friends on a niche fandom thing in school, especially if you're not social. So the conceit of the guy she was into wasn't a guy at all. Having two girls who are into something very niche that not even most Americans are into.
Yeah.
And people making fun of them for not having friends who have the same interests of them is just... do you not understand how culture works?
Have you ever been like an outcast?
Have you never been into a very niche thing? Like, I think this is the same as saying that, how could you not have friends who are into anime?
Depends. Depends on where you are.
It depends on when you were in high school.
Where you are.
Because I remember Samir saying that there was an anime club at their school.
Like, I feel like we came from an age where early high school / grade school, it was very, like, extremely nerdy to like anime. So, like, people were, like, weird.
People got bullied for being into anime.
Yeah. We're really like, oh, that's weird. You're so strange. Yeah. You're so odd.
This was before being into nerdy media was cool.
Yes. Oh my god.
Which is the same era as where
Marvel.
That manga was, where Mob is. There's a very big reason why Mob didn't blow up as much.
Yeah.
It's still kind of niche. If you talk to people about it, there's most people don't know who Shigeo is. Most people would know who Reigen is, but not Shigeo. There's a reason for that, and that's because it came out during the Yuri on Ice.
Oh man,
the Yuri on Ice craze.
Can I get an F in the chat for all my? I am one of you, okay? I was out here going like, man, this should really just release Ice and all the sins. And then I saw the tweet, it got canceled. I was like, man, that PNG, that was my, like, big anime that I got into.
That was my Roman
Empire. I really enjoy. I love Yuri on Ice. I still rewatch Yuri on Ice when I want to have a laugh.
I was big on the rivalry when Yuri on Ice was coming out.
Yuri and Yuri.
Mob was coming out at the same time. And I think it was like the Crunchyroll Awards where Yuri on Ice won.
Yes!
Best animation.
I remember this. And people were so angry.
Yeah, because
some people...
I respect the rotoscoping. I do. But have you seen Mob Psycho?
I know. I understand that Mob Psycho should have won. But also, I got so angry at people who were like, oh, why does the frame look like this? I'm like, have y'all not heard of smear frames and in-betweens? Fuck off. You want it to be perfectly drawn
that's another thing.
Anime, I will kill you with my bare
hands.
That's
actually another thing. Because, okay, I understand some of the vitriol for that. Because, because it's people who have been in anime fandoms for a while know that most studios can do much better.
Yes.
I'll say this much. There's an anime that came out. Well, not an anime. It was like a donghua that came out way before Yuri on Ice, which has some of the best animation I've seen. But because it's Chinese, most people don't fucking watch it. Yeah. So it looks fucking amazing. I've seen Yuri on Ice. I've seen the quality of the animation. I know they can do better.
Yes.
I know for a fact that they were also running on short time. Yeah.
Mappa in general has very shit ways of treating their animators, and I would know, hi, I'm an animation student, in case of anyone forgets that. And I don't know, I got so annoyed because people were like, oh, rotoscoping is easy, and I'm like, I will pick you up with my bare hands and throw you from this window.
No, it's not.
Especially,
I mean, they're getting better upgrades now, right? Because they have
the software
Procreate.
now. But like, rotoscoping in general is so hard to match, especially with something as complicated as ice skating.
Yeah. Which also, if you watch ice skating, sometimes it does get a little uncanny.
Yeah.
Especially if you've never ice skated before, you're just like, how are they doing that?
How do they not fall over?
Right? So, it's already uncanny just watching it in real life. So, animating it, understandable.
I so remember being on Twitter that day that came out. The wars between Yuri on Ice heads and Mob Psycho fans. The quotes tweets I remember this because I spent like a half a day just reading people's opinions about what happened. I'm like, I
did not spend that much time.
No, here's the thing. I was like, because I knew Mob Psycho was good, even though I hadn't watched it. I was like, you know that meme that's like, oh my god, 2 cakes. That was me. I was like, oh my god, 2 great anime that we should be celebrating. And then people were just yelling at each other.
I also have to bring this up because the other reason why Mob isn't too. And I kind of brought this up earlier. The reason why most people aren't into Mob is because of how it looks.
Yes.
Most people who watch anime are very used to a very certain aesthetic, which
tall,
is very
skinny,
very tall, very clean looking
very
lines.
Chiseled.
Yeah, and the animation is Personally, after watching Mob, watching regular anime feels stilted now.
I will say I really do commend like Mob animators for always finding ways to change up the way they animate a certain scene.
Right.
And like even the angles that they choose are so interesting. So sometimes when we were watching, I was like, man, that's a great shot. That's a great shot.
And sometimes, okay, I haven't shown you any of the regular episodes because most of the episodes aren't that intense. That was just the series finale. There are some parts where it's just like uncanny how much effort they put into animating Reigen just fucking talking.
Oh my god, I remember like the lip sync goes crazy.
The hand gestures. He's insane. People just go ham on him.
I was like, really baby girl energy that people are so obsessed with.
I think you saw one thing that was like kind of like part of the regular usual thing for Mob, which was him dealing with a client with quote unquote the porn curse.
Please.
Weird things happen in that office.
Sometimes Reigen makes choices that I'm more like, okay, so you said that,
He's very all-rounder. He knows how to do Photoshop. He knows how to do, I guess...
He was multimedia artist.
MMORPG. He is a... But yeah, that's most of... That's most of what I have for Mob. A lot of just laughing at whatever the fuck has happened in the fandom over the years.
I think Mob is just like such an interesting character study as an anime, and I really like it for what it is rather than what I thought it was going to be. I remember because really, from all the fan art, from like all the fandom perceptions, I thought it was going to be a completely different thing, and it's really like fascinating to see what it actually is, which is a more deep and personal story than what a lot of people were selling it as.
It's a coming of age comedy anime.
Yeah.
That is also kind of sci-fi.
Mob just has an anxiety disorder. I understand him.
A lot of deep-seated trauma in there.
A lot of deep-seated trauma.
CPTSD is going on.
No, because I do have the thing where when I think about, like, I have an anxiety meter in my brain, and I remember when we first started watching Mob, I'm like, oh, it works like that, actually. Where if I hit my limit, I will explode.
That's another thing that really pissed me off, because a lot of people were coming into it from the shonen side of the genre, who were expecting it to be like a power fantasy of sorts, because he is overpowered. But the conceit of the show is that he doesn't like being overpowered. He doesn't even like the powers.
That's the whole thing. He doesn't.
He just wants to be normal.
I don't think anyone would want the power that you explode at one point
the
when you get full.
One here is Jack, and he's not even toilet trained.
Oh.
But yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for letting me rant.
Yes, like Mob Psycho is something that's like very near and dear to SJ's heart.
Yeah, I rewatch it regularly.
Yeah.
I'm normal.
No, you know what? I'm not even mad because it's a good anime, and I completely understand why you have the worms about it.
You should finish the anime.
I really should finish the anime. Honestly, I probably will. I would like to finish it without people other than SJ in my ear going, "Oh my god, you're watching Mob Psycho. It's such a good anime." I'm like, yeah, I know. I got it. I'm talking to SJ about it. I don't. I'm good. I don't need.
This is your badge now.
Yeah.
If you watch Mob Psycho, you just give them this episode.
Yes. It's really good. Like, and what I also really appreciate, because I feel like some animes, they can look really good, but the writing is not that great.
Yeah.
Mob has both, which is something that I really liked.
And I'm a regular anime hater, where people will say, this looks amazing, and then I watch it, and I'm just like, it's not even that good. Yeah. The only thing that has broken that recently is Frigaren, which it's very sad. Don't watch it.
Oh, no. But I feel like with Mob and with Yuri on Ice, the writing was really what drew me in.
Yeah.
And made me want to watch the episodes. So while I know that One Piece and like stuff like
Naruto.
I guess Naruto and Fairy Tail are good. I know that they're good, like technically, on a technical level. But however, the story sometimes I'm like, man.
The moral lesson here is never watch My Hero Academia. Don't fucking watch it.
You know what? My friend did watch My Hero Academia, but I think they also stopped. So I don't know.
Bakugo should die. I've seen the screen caps from the manga. He should be dead.
Help. Wait, wasn't there like an anime where like was it BNHA or was it Mob where a character died and they were on like the Japanese newspapers?
Huh?
There was an anime character. I don't know.
Maybe it was Bakugo. I saw.
It might be. Where they were like giving out like Japanese newspapers as promotional material that had like the death of the anime character. Like,
nah, they wouldn't have the budget for that for Mob.
It's just like a thing that says Reigen Arutaka. That's the promo material. With like that.
It's a flyer
about, like,
for experiences.
You know that meme of like Mike Wazowski and Sully.
Help.
It should be that, but with Reigen and Mob. And I'm like, please remove the corner sticker. He cannot see.
Mob getting Mike Wazowski. Look, Ritsu,
like
I'm on the paper.
Ritsu's like,
Good on you. He said, woohoo. You're on the paper.
mom just like puts it on the refrigerator and it's just like,
Oh no. King. I love him.
That would be such a cute little fan art.
Mom gets so much.
Has someone done it? I feel like someone has to have done it at this point.
Someone has probably done it, but
I could just like the mom's sweet little face during the little thumbs up.
I remember showing you mom as a baby, and you're just going, "Oh
yeah,
no,
oh no!"
Can't say no to him.
It's like, oh, buddy, oh.
He's just a little guy.
Mom really has the best little guy energy out there.
Transition could fix her.
Oh yeah, the episode where they dress up as schoolgirls.
Yeah, transition could absolutely fix her.
They love Reigen, but not Mom.
Yeah, I have opinions.
Well, no, Reigen, you are like what 6 foot tall, trying to go into this all. Come on, dude. Be realistic.
He looked cunty though.
The one time the face
he served
declined.
He served though.
Yes, he did. But yeah, I like Mob Psycho. I will watch more of Mob Psycho because I need to know and be emotionally devastated by the ending of that season.
You have to tell me when, but I can't. I don't know if I can sit down with you.
Yeah, that's fine. I will let you know. And then just like what happened with me listening to Wolf 359, you will just get a flood of messages. But this time it won't me going, when does Kepler die?
The message would be XYZ dies? Question mark? I'm not going to say who it is. Thanks for letting me ramble about Mob Psycho for, it seems, 50 minutes. What are we talking about for Pride Month? Even though we're already recording.
We know what we're talking about. Because it's my turn. We're talking about challengers.
Of course.
We're talking... I love challengers. I have opinions on challengers, and you will hear my opinions on challengers.
We'll talk about them more next time.
Yes.
On Dragon Ball Z. Sorry.
Next, I like how your references Dragon Ball Z and my references the start of Glee. This is what you missed on Glee. My best friend loves Glee, so I'm like, I know far too much about Glee without.
I don't even watch Dragon Ball Z. It's just like a vocal tick to me now. It's a stick. What you just heard was a talk from the Secret Treehouse. Those were your hosts, SJ and Gab, and this was a production by The Playground. If you like that, please consider supporting us through the links found in the show notes. If you support us for as low as $6 on Ko-fi, you can get the whole uncut version of this episode. And if you want your name at the end of the episode, like at this moment here, you can support us for $10. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope we can get to hang out again.